Listen, kids, things aren't what they seem. Don't be fooled. There's a big deception going on, and you're involved in it, but I just thought you ought to know it.
Kaijus! What's up? It's your boy Kaiju Kong, aka 2K, emerging from the depths of sweet solitude to bring you some more Sigma soul sustenance. Alright, today's video topic is brought to you by a brother named Kenneth Jerusalem. Kenneth, this is a shout out to you, my friend. Thank you very much for that. Kenneth essentially asked me in a comment, telling me that he was 13 years old and how he can become a Sigma male, or what are the steps to becoming a Sigma male. And I thought that this topic was very relevant, especially for many of you younger males out there who have seen the Sigma male mindset, the Sigma male philosophy, and the lifestyle that we live, and are attracted to its many perks, such as freedom, independence, autonomy, and all of that. So let's go through this step by step on how to become a Sigma male with your brother Kaiju Kong. Now, step 1. This may come as a surprise to many of you, but my first step is to spend these years. My goodness, my friend, you are just 13 years old. It's hard for me to remember what I was doing at 13 except for creating trouble. My advice is to do some soul searching. Spend these years really understanding yourself, because as I say, self-understanding is the foundation from which you can then self-improve and to know yourself. That is one of the biggest steps to maximizing your own potential. And why do I say that? Because you have to know if being a Sigma male, being step 1, being a Sigma male, is it the right thing for you in life? Is it what you are called to do by the universe? Being a Sigma male may attract you now, but understand that being an alpha also is a good thing. Being a beta, delta, or whatever has its share of blessings. And as well, it also has its own fair share of sacrifices. And as Jordan Peterson says, you have to pick your damn sacrifice. Because if you are an introvert, doing what extroverts do is a sacrifice. But for an extrovert, that is not a sacrifice. So you have to choose your sacrifice, because some sacrifices are more tolerable for you than it is for other people. And likewise, other sacrifices seem not to bother other people, but for you it just gets on your nerves. You have to know your qualities, like do you lean towards extroversion, do you lean towards introversion? How are you in group settings when you are in school and they do group works? Are you usually the one who is the leader, or are you the one who people give the leadership role without you asking for it, which was the case with me many times? And as a leader, how are you? Do you treat everyone with equality? Do you like the power? Do you enjoy it? Because that may be a symbol of being an alpha. Or do you not really, does being a leader or being a follower not really bother you? Does it not matter to you as much? And sometimes when you're in a group work, like in my case, I felt that being in a group kind of hindered my potential. I preferred to be alone because I actually scored higher in marks being alone than when I was in a group. I don't know why. That's not the way I was built. So I developed the skills to naturally thrive in the world, given that I was a lone wolf. Whenever younger males reach out to me with this type of advice, I always tell them that everyone has a gift. The universe puts a gift or 2 or 3 in you, hides it in you, and it's all up to you to bring that gift to fruition. And sometimes that gift will not show itself unless you're in the right circumstances, unless you put yourself out there in the right place or at the right time. And so if you are called to be in the hierarchy, if you insist on being a Sigma when you're not called to be a Sigma, you will actually fail in giving a gift. You will actually do yourself a disservice. Are you a fruit or are you a flower? The difference is that the flower blooms when it's at its peak, when it's at its most valuable in life. It is still connected to the tree. Therefore, it is one of the hierarchy. Whereas the fruit is not meant to just be part of the tree. The fruit is meant to fall, to separate from the hierarchy. And being separate from the hierarchy, it is consumed and then put back in the ground and then grows as a new tree. So its purpose and true value in life is to be separate from the hierarchy. And if the fruit insists on being a part of the tree, it is doing a disservice to itself. But if a flower insists on being like a Sigma and separates from the tree, the flower dies. So that's the difference between a Sigma and one of the hierarchy. A Sigma male is called to really separate from the hierarchy because that's his purpose. Sometimes when you separate yourself from family, school, work life, career, and you make certain decisions, these decisions will hurt your ability to return and may never allow you to return back to the hierarchy. Before you get to that turning point in life, know what you are getting yourself into. And that's why I put that as step 1. Now, along with step 1, let's go to step 2. Step 2 is, while you're in that hierarchy of yours, your family, school, or little side jobs, maximize your growth to the fullest potential. Maximize yourself as much as you can, as I said in a previous video. Take advantage of that hierarchy. Take advantage of your family, learn from your parents, learn from your grandparents, your uncles, your aunts, because there's no running away from them. And if you run, you actually do yourself a disservice, because if you are a fruit, when you detach the fruit from the tree, before it matures, it is sour, or it hasn't even grown to the part that the fruit is useful yet. So while you are still part of the tree, as nature designed it to be, because nature designed that humans care for younger humans until the younger humans grow to a point where they can leave the nest. So while you're part of that family, draw as much as you can from it. While you're in the school, draw as much as you can from it. So as younger Sigmas, I tell younger Sigmas to do 4 things. Take your studies seriously. Don't play a fool, because if you are not meant to be a Sigma male, and you are meant to be part of the hierarchy, then having that education will be the launching platform for you to get a good life. Yeah, getting a job does help you get money, and if you're at that point in your life where you want to disband from the hierarchy and you have money as a result of your job, that is the platform for you from which you can launch towards independence. Also, number 2, take up sports. Sports, something that is physical, because not only physically but mentally it teaches you about stamina, mental fortitude, going that extra lap, practicing that extra hour, going through that extra rep, going through that extra set, pushing yourself to the maximum. These things count in the longer term of life. And number 3 is to study the world, study the people, study different social dynamics, study how the teachers interact with the students, study how the students interact with the teachers, see if the teachers have good leadership skills, what you can do to improve if you are in that position, and you look at different hierarchies or different groups, because some groups you may not like to be in, some other groups you may prefer to be in. Just like in my case, I didn't like some groups and I liked to hang out in other groups. So know that one group not liking you or one group that you have a distaste for does not necessarily mean that you do not like other hierarchies. And probably there is one hierarchy that you are just called to be in or become the alpha in. So don't discount that as a fact. And going through this stage where we jump from hierarchy to see where we belong or see where we like to hang out in, that builds you as a social chameleon, that builds you as a hierarchy jumper, which is one of the Sigma male's traits. And number 4, take up a creative hobby. Take up something that is artistic, painting, sculpting, making videos, making artworks, music, whatever, because creativity and artistic talent, these are things that cannot be stolen. Ideas can be stolen, but the machinery that goes on inside that head that spits out these ideas or combines different ideas from different places and combines it into something that is original, that looks original, this is something that cannot be stolen. You ultimately, with creativity, you share something and share one common trait with the universe itself, which is creation. So that is very important. And all these things put together, all these 4 things put together, make you a more well-rounded individual. And being well-rounded and like a jack of all trades is something that a Sigma male is. Because a Sigma male depends on himself. He is a one-man army. He does not depend on anyone to do a role. If something demands being physical, he is prepared to be physical. If something demands him to be intelligent and factual, he is prepared to be intelligent and factual from his years of being educated. If it's something called to be creative, he can do that creative thing. If it's called to mesh into different social environments, he is prepared to do that as well. So a Sigma, whenever there's a challenge, a Sigma is prepared to do it. A Sigma does not cower and hide and say, I'm not prepared to do that. It is frustrating, yes, when it gets to that point in life, but a Sigma does not give up. If a Sigma is met with a challenge that seems big or difficult to him in the beginning, he will find a way no matter what, and he will do it himself first before getting into a group. But if he cannot do it by himself, he will get into a group, no problem. He is a social chameleon, he is social in himself, and he's able to do that as well. Some point along that journey, you may realize or you may stumble upon something that you were really called to do. You may feel like you're drawn to one specific thing. It doesn't matter if it's sports, it doesn't matter if it's arts, music, whatever. Something will draw you in and attract you. Now is when it gets interesting, because once you found your purpose and once you found that special talent that others don't necessarily have or others value you for, double down on that. Attack it with all the energy that you've got. That is your purpose in life. Or if it's not your purpose in your entire life, that is your purpose at that point in your life. That is what the universe calls you to do at that moment. And if you change, like life always does, that will be the stepping stone for you to level up as a person. So that's number 2. Maximize your growth in the current hierarchy. Do not be prepared to run away so fast. Draw as much as you can from it, like a fruit does with a tree. Before you fall, make sure you're as sweet as possible. And if you find out you're a flower, well, it's a good thing you didn't fall yet, because you are a long way from blooming, my friend. The third point is the realization. This is the last point. The realization that being a Sigma male, or accomplishing that point in your life where you can say, yes, I am a Sigma male, it comes with time, my friend. It comes when you only leave your home. Because at the moment, you may make decisions, but overall, your parents do make the decisions for you. As long as they pay your bills, as long as you don't pay for your own food, as long as you don't pay for the water and the gas, someone else has control over you. And once you are able to do all of those things, pay your bills, pay the rent, pay for your food that goes into your belly, then you can be independent, and then you can make the decision whether to be part of a hierarchy or to be a Sigma male and make it on your own. So just do the best with what you have at the moment. Be resourceful. And as the years go on, time changes everything. Your mindset can change, or it can remain the same. You may get to that point in your life when you can make that decision and you will say that I want to still be a Sigma male. All right, but see, everything that you've done in your life, putting your best foot forward, being the best version of yourself, acquiring all these skills physically, artistically, theoretically, factually, and socially, you are better prepared to launch forward and become a true Sigma male and be truly independent and take total ownership of your life. But if your mindset at that time changes and you decide to be part of the hierarchy, then because you've spent all those years doing your best and being the best version of yourself, all these skills and abilities and your capabilities is the launching platform for you to be a very good player in the game. You can even become an alpha. You're at a better position to be an alpha, in fact. Why do you think a Sigma is the outside counterpart of the alpha in the hierarchy? So, when you're young, you spend your years really developing, and if you choose to be outside, you're a Sigma, an alpha on the outside, but if you choose to be inside, you're an alpha in the alpha system. Now I want to end with an example of the Sigma male process and how one goes from inside the hierarchy as a youth to becoming a Sigma male when he's older. And this example comes from a video game named Ghost of Tsushima. Fairly recent game, fairly popular, and it's really, really good, and it shows how a Sigma male works in life and how a Sigma male becomes a Sigma male. And if you're the type of person who doesn't like spoilers, then it's best to end the video now. But if you're curious to know my thoughts about the game and me explaining as a Sigma male what's going on in the game, then keep watching. Ghost of Tsushima, basically it's based in Japan, as you probably could tell. And so the game opens with a war between the samurai and the Mongols. The Mongols, ultimately, they wanted to capture that island from which the game takes place, and they use this island as a platform for which to attack and take over the rest of Japan. The thing is that the Mongols totally destroy the samurai, and majority of the samurai fall in battle. Only a few of the samurai make it out alive, a few of which is the man, the main character of the story, the protagonist, and his uncle. His uncle is the leader of the samurai in that island, and so the uncle is captured by the Khan of the Mongols and put in the castle, held as a prisoner. And so, to cut the long story short, on that mission of liberating the islands from Mongol control, the protagonist had to decide whether to keep the samurai code of facing his enemies head on, or to adapt to the circumstances and start going through, let's say, covert means or things that the samurais deemed dishonorable, because he started stabbing people in the back, he started using poison darts, he started attacking in the dead of night, and all of these things that are likely to be attributed to ninjas. As the Mongol Khan said, the code of the samurai makes them predictable. It makes them easy to defeat because you know what they're gonna do. You know they're only gonna attack you head on. And so if they attack you head on, or you can just aim a few archers at them and they're all gonna die. And so the protagonist basically said, screw honor, screw these things that don't work, let me do what works, even if it goes against what my current hierarchy taught me, my current hierarchy says. And he does liberate the island. The funny thing is, when he does liberate the island, because of the way that he did it, it was held against him by the shogun. One of the moments that really captured my attention was when his uncle, being liberated by him, asked him to make the decision whether he still wanted to be, as they called him, the ghost of Tsushima, or he wanted to come back and be accepted as his adopted son, aka part of the hierarchy, aka to throw away his identity as the ghost and be, let's say, to follow Bushido again, the samurai code. But because there was still work to be done in liberating Japan from the Mongols, he chose to stay on the path of the ghost, aka the path of the Sigma male, apart from the hierarchy. And because he did so, he was actually hunted down. So that's it, my friends. I hope, Kenneth, that this video helped you out. Just do your best with what you are called to do in life. You're young, get out there, get tired of life as much as you can. It's funny how I say that, but get tired of life as much as you can. And I don't tell everyone this, but when I was younger and I was in school, my parents put me in an international school. The funny thing is the international school was Indian international school. Nothing against Indians. It's just that I felt left out, you know? I bet you can tell. I felt left out. I'm not an Indian. And so their culture and everything was totally different. And so I used to skip school on a weekly basis. I used to skip like 3-4 days per week. It's a time that I regret, but it's a time that somehow I don't regret. What was I doing when I skipped school? I was in the city doing parkour, practicing my skills in parkour. Funny enough, guys, but that's the way life is for us Sigma males. That's why we are rebellious. We don't usually like the system. That's how I was, and I was caught by the police on several points. Consider things carefully, make the decisions well. If you have caring parents, ask them for advice, learn from them, learn from the hierarchy, learn from school, learn from everyone around you. As you go through life, you eventually realize through circumstances and situations that you face, because as they say, the situation does not make the man, the situation reveals him. And so when you go through situations, you have to look at it and say, how did I react to that? What was my natural reaction to that? Did I do it this way or do it that way? And knowing yourself, having this self-awareness allows you to understand whether you are naturally a Sigma male or naturally an alpha male or someone in the hierarchy. So you know whether you're a flower or you're a fruit. Remember, situations reveal you to yourself. So, I hope this helped you out, guys. If you like this message, do go ahead and leave a like and comment your thoughts down below. I really want to know what you guys think about this. And if you haven't already, do consider subscribing to the channel. This is a channel for the powerful Sigma males, where we are not only lone wolves or tigers here, we are looking to evolve into Kaijus, the true Sigma male spirit animal. And with that, thank you very much for joining me. This is Kaiju Kong signing off. Take care, brothers.